Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what's the incident?
Okay, so I know that you put in your application over here.
Okay, but I would like to concentrate, yes. But what is the incident that occurred at Walmart?
Okay, so the incident that happened at Walmart was with my daughter, and she had seen you, and you had basically you were distraught over, I guess, me not calling you for you to get an apartment at either place.
I just really not heard a lot, and I'm just trying to get down to the bottom of it. I informed your daughter I would like to be around Christian people that have integrity and hearts. And as well, you as well as all the other church members know that I'm targeted and I have multiple different false arrests. You've seen my tears, you've seen my pain, and you've seen my anguish. And then some
That is
and then some people said that they would help me, and then they were condescending and offered me pads and tampons. And then when I asked for prayer, then one of them wanted to pay for paranoia. Well, if you're
uh-huh.
getting assaulted and arrested at a domestic violence support group, which I told you guys, all of my experience, you saw my tears, you saw my anguish. And then I'm not quite certain on why your daughter wouldn't have compassion, knowing that I've been through. Anyone that is getting violated would be traumatized. And then if you're reaching out to a church and then they're slandering you, and then I'm not quite certain if you understand why I haven't been at church. They're saying that all the church members are ignoring me. I was slandered by Pastor Scott. He said that it didn't happen, and then I reminded him about the experience with April. April confirmed that indeed the police department covered for me getting death threats, my device being hacked, and hers. Then
Uh-huh.
to try to scare her and run our information and cover for the abuser. He didn't even want to take a report. Pastor Scott's wife was completely aware of that. Another party saw the death threats and said that's horrible. But so nonetheless, I don't know why that wasn't communicated with the pastor. So for every environment that I'm in, all of a sudden now it's an incident and it's a crisis and you get your freedom taken and you get intimidated, you get punished, assaulted, and mistreated for trying to flee abuse. And I just don't understand what the world is coming to. Used to be when people reached out for help, people weren't furious and hated their guts and called it incidences and then pray for paranoia. And if there's witnesses all over the place. I'm not quite certain on where paranoia has to come into a play if someone is seeing death threats of me, saying that I'm going to shoot you in your head. Why would they even waste their breath in praying for paranoia? Perhaps pray for the person that's sending me nonsense like that, threatening someone's life, but it repeatedly in my environments is just really not happening. Even at Midcoast, which I communicated with you guys in tears.
Uh-huh.
So for whatever reason that it is, and I informed that you guys, I don't know if you were there because I don't know what's going on in your life, but I haven't really seen you there the last times that I've been there. But I informed these people that I may need to leave this country because all I
Uh-huh.
keep seeing is government officials enlisting people in abuse and torment and pain and suffering for me. And it's just really not enough people that are concerned and don't want to be in cahoots with it. So I would like to have freedom to go to a church that don't want to commit crimes at church and don't want to play mind games and violate someone. I don't consider informing your daughter because I haven't seen you about my abuse and experiences that I had there. She has a child and she's an adult. But for some reason, compassion has been absent in all my environments, and I don't know why that is. And
I
that,
under, I
okay.
understand your frustration, and I hear what you are saying. However, like I had informed you before, that I need
I did inform you that,
government,
yeah, I did
as far
inform
as
you weeks ago that I had the documentation, and you said you called me back and you never did. But
I
I called the
never
apartment.
told you that I was going to call you back. I told you, and I texted you, and I still have the text for you to call Fox Run because they have availability, and you are at the top of the list. So I can't do that work for you, Kiana. You are going to have to do
I
it
just really
yourself.
not being heard. I think that it's really abusive that people are
How
trapping
is it
me
that you're not being heard if I'm telling you what to do?
because I've already called. And my calls
Okay?
haven't been returned, and I do have the documentation which I communicated with you. But nonetheless, if people repeatedly treat me this way, I don't. Maybe it's not a good fit. Maybe I just need to find another location, and hopefully the government can't enforce people treat me with hate. I just want to be around loving, compassionate people, and I just don't think people understand how impossible it's been. I would like to be able to
Okay.
get support without being slandered, violated, mistreated, intimidated, gaslit. So if that is not the circumstance, I do have the text as well, and I don't know why people communicate with me as if we're on trial. That's bizarre. The only thing that I communicated with church, the people in the congregation, is that I just wanted love and support and compassion, and not games, and that has been
Okay.
impossible.
Okay. And like I said, this is my job. So if you do see my daughter out, as far as shopping and stuff like that, I would definitely appreciate you coming to me because she doesn't have anything to do with my job. So if there is confusion or anything like that, as far as the steps that need to be taken, I can guide you to the person to call, but you're going to have to be the one to do that. And like I had told you before, there is certain government documents that you have to have in order to move in. It's not just, oh, I know a person and I can get you in. That's not how it works. We are Section 8, we are income based, and I can't get around you not having your birth certificate or you not having your social security card. And
I don't know why
it's
you would
taken me a
communicate that
while
that's not
to
an
get
issue.
that.
I'm not. No, I don't know why you would communicate that that's not an issue.
Right, but whenever I had first spoken with you, you were having issues getting some of those government documentations. By the time you got those documents, I was no longer working at that property. I was only filling in. So therefore, you are going to have to call them in order to get moved in.
Yes, I
Like
did
I said,
communicate that.
you are
Yeah,
still
I'm
on
not
the
really
wait
being heard.
list.
Maybe you, if I don't, I do appreciate your help that you've given me. Maybe you can call them because I've left several messages and my calls aren't being returned. So since you did
Okay,
manage,
like I said, I don't have anything to do with Fox Run. I gave you the number. You are going to have to call them, and you are going to have to make that appointment to go in and, if you are at the top of the list and they have an apartment for you, then they will let you know of the steps that you need to take. But I gave you the number, and now it's your responsibility for you to make that phone call and for you to let them know that you are still interested and
if
you're
they won't
calling to
answer
see
the
what number
phone,
you
ma'am,
are
I don't
on the
really know
list.
what to do. I just, it's just the lifestyle that I have to live. If what more important than Fox Run, it would be to be around godly Christian people. That is what I was seeking more importantly, but I'm repeatedly not heard. That was also a concern, but I'm in an environment now. My biggest concern was in the multiple different times Pastor Amber spoke of community. That is vital, and she spoke about how vital community is, thus the name Community Transformation Church. And I've been excluded from community in a lot of different environments, and it's very painful. So I get that I don't want you to take the situation with Fox Run because I'm in an environment now. It's the part of I'm lacking community in all my environments, and I'm trying to figure out why. I want to know why Lindsay was crying at church. It appeared that she was doing something that she didn't want to do, and someone hugged her and gave her compassion to keep and force Lindsay do what she was doing. I saw it. And
Okay.
I'm wanting to know why multiple different people in my environments are having meltdowns and breakdowns doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And then why they're
Okay.
able to get community and love and support to be able to go ahead and fulfill whatever experiences that I have that can be viewed on body cam footage. Not body cam footage,
Okay.
but on camera. But nonetheless, that was the most biggest concern on why multiple different parties are condescending and don't care that someone has gotten death threats and haven't given them any kind of resources to flee abuse that the government's listed in. I've heard some parties say that they have relatives that are police officers but hide them from me. And then I'll kind of, maybe the church has people that are attorneys, or, then it was one woman that said she worked for an organization and she knows exactly what that they do, and then offered me pads and tampons. So I don't know if you've experienced anything like that. I know that the church has been very loving and compassionate to you and your child, and I wish that I could have the same experience. But for some reason, people have ulterior motives, which I communicated that with you. And evidence of that is being slandered, and nobody telling the church, Pastor Scott, about my experiences for him to think that they are not actually happening. And there's witnesses that have seen the death threats. In addition to that, the lack of community that other members experience, I don't experience at multiple different churches, which I also reported to you guys.
Okay, well, I can't answer for anybody else but myself. I have not experienced anything that you are suggesting, so therefore, all of the other stuff, the names, all of that stuff, I can't speak on that.
I know that's the point. That is the point that I'm making, that you have not experienced that, but I'm trying to get down to the bottom of why I repeatedly experienced it. Why was I drugged out of a church and body slammed on concrete? And I communicated to you guys. Why did the police department come and take me out of a location for trying to flee abuse?
Okay, well, like I had stated before, the reason why I was calling.
Did it never dawn on you that to maybe be community and a support system? That didn't dawn on any of the church members?
Okay, so like I had stated at the beginning of this conversation, I was calling to give
But I'm
you
just curious on why no one, you said you didn't experience that. It didn't dawn on you to be a support system and call and say, oh my goodness, you got death threats. Can I pray for you? It didn't dawn on you to say, well, you know what, we need to do this, so and so. Let me recommend this. You got death threats. I didn't know you were going through that. Typically in all my environments, it just never dawns on anyone that perhaps maybe I need love, and that is what's godly. But some kind of way, a lot of these environments are so professional and cold, and they're lacking it for me, but I'm like witnessing everyone else get it. Like you said, that wasn't your experience. Why do I repeatedly experience that? I would have preferred, but I know that, my calls are typically like this. I have pads and tampons for you, but I would like to get love and support and not just coldness. As far as communicating anything with your adult daughter, I just, was kind of disappointed in my experiences. And she is an adult with her own child.
Okay, just because she has a child does not mean that she is an adult. That, number one, had nothing to do with what you were basically going to talk about. And
I'm not. You didn't get you didn't get the full situation. Once again, the most important part is my life was in jeopardy. And then I was communicating to her why I haven't seen her at church, which I thought if I know her from church, that was pretty imperative that she knew what was going on with the church. Typically, in normal environments, I've been going to church a long time, and if you haven't been at church, you can communicate with a party that I haven't been at church because that's this. That was the most important thing which I communicated. And I said also in my crisis, I know that this situation occurred with your mom, and she was supposed to call me, and I didn't get that call. So I was just letting her know that I hadn't talked to you. That is your daughter, and I know that you guys communicate. I wasn't trying to do it particularly in malice. I was just trying because she is a church person, that I communicated was at church with. I didn't know if you guys missed me or if you've been there. She did communicate that you guys haven't been there, but I haven't either, so I didn't know. And since you have, you had a smiling face until things got bizarre. You did tell me that you had possible connections. And then you did say that you needed those documents, and then I informed you that I had the documents, and then you said you no longer was over that property. But typically people start out being cordial, and then it gets toxic, and I'm trying to figure out why. So, I thought that was a pretty nice place at first, but each experience turned the same pattern. And then I've had places, church members blatantly lie as an alibi to keep me from attending the service, in which I communicated that with you guys. So as far as me communicating anything with your child, I didn't really do that. I just was going through something, disappointed at my experiences, disappointed that I beg for my life all the time, and the only thing people want to do is concentrate on being bold and ignoring my pleas and begging for help. begging for a support system. Nobody wants to be it, and I'm just trying to figure out why.
Do you want me to be completely honest?
Sure, let's see how this goes.
Like, for real, for real.
Sure,
Do you want me to be completely honest?
Sure, let's see how this goes.
Okay. It is because of, in my experience, I can only speak for myself, but not knowing you, and you are coming like right off the bat, first time I meet you, you're already stating like all of this is going on regarding your abuser, and people are hacking into your phones, and anybody that's connected to you is getting like the same hacking. Girl, that's scary. Like,
You're right.
The stuff that you state pushes people away. Like, if I were to go to you and I were to be telling you, like, hey, I've got this and this and this that's going on, but, you know, anybody that's connected to me, you're going to experience the same thing.
I didn't say that you would experience the same thing. I just communicated. I don't want people. I don't want you to be surprised.
Right off the jump, you had stated like people would start hacking into my phone. That my phone would also be like your abuser was basically going to start like. I've got my own family that I've got to protect, and yes, I have a faith in God and I believe in God, but at the same token, I don't want somebody that is connected to you to come and start like potentially like endangering mine or my family's life.
I understand
so therefore, that's going to push people away to where I've got my guard up. Yes, I'm going to love on you and I'm going to pray for you, but at the same token, I'm also going to keep my distance because of the simple fact of the stuff that you are stating right off the jump whenever you first meet somebody.
I don't think it was the first meeting.
Like I said, that is my experience. I can't speak for everybody else. But I am being.
That's not how it went. Actually, when the church asked me if I wanted prayer, and then tears and having meltdowns because I felt so desperate, and then coming up here, and then mid-coast was scamming, which I communicated with you guys that I can only be there 3 days.
For you,
but there's a disconnect. If I can finish speaking, this happens quite.
Hold on a second. I can only speak for what I saw. And whenever I was in your presence, and whenever
I didn't just say my name
there,
is. I didn't just offer my name and then said, "Hey, my phone is hacked."
I don't know what all went down at Community Transformation because life has been lifing, and so I have not been there quite as much. So I'm not too sure what all was going down. But at the same token, me personally, like I had told you before in your text, whenever you were sending like very disturbing text messages regarding, you know, whether or not you even wanted to be in this country anymore because of the treatment that you were getting. You know, I had expressed to you regarding like, hey, I feel like the thing with you is that you place too much of your expectations onto man whenever you should turn that over and place those same expectations, like, give it to God, girl. Like,
which I have, what you have already stated before this, that, and also Pastor Amber, and the name of your church is Community Transformation. Community is vital. You stated that you haven't had an experience like mine there. And I'm repeatedly the elephant in the room, seeing people loved on and compassion. And then, in fact, I have another acquaintance that someone was communicated. Call me anytime if you need a support system or if you need anyone to talk to. I'm in support groups and can't get support. I mean, my life is really peculiar. So if your church is Community Transformation and you don't have a situation like mine, then you wouldn't understand. because you're getting something that I can't get. And I reached out to you as well as multiple different other parties, begging and pleading for any kind of love and support, and repeatedly over and over is just really not there to be found. But it's over and over again, just like the other party that people met after me, was a hand was extended to her. Call me if you need someone to talk to. We got this, we got that, and I just don't get it, things like that. And in fact, I had an accountability partner that wouldn't be my accountability partner, but I get it all across the board. So I'm just, wanted to communicate what you're stating really wouldn't be accurate. I did not introduce conversations with my phone is hacked, but you could let's be friends. I said that before I exchange this number with you, I do want to be honest about what's going on because I don't want to put you in risk. I wanted to be upfront, and it wasn't, that I'm introducing myself, but I had compassion for people involved in the church, and I wanted to be honest with my experiences, and I did not want to put you at risk. So I wanted you to know up front what I was going through, and that way you can make the decision on your own if you wanted to be experience, have any communication with me. But I still don't understand why Pastor Scott would blatantly lie on me and then tell me to get my things when I was trying to do something on my device. Told me to get all my things, and then.
So, like I stated before, I cannot speak for anybody else in the church besides myself and my experience. And so I have relayed my experience. I asked you if I could be completely honest, and that is my honest experience as to why my guard was, up, and like I stated before, you are still on the list over there at Fox Run. If you would like to give them a call and, let them know that you still are interested in an apartment, your name is still on the list. So as soon as they get to your names, then they can call you. They can let you know of the documents that you need to bring in, and you can go from there. As far as for my property over here, I don't have anything available, so I wouldn't be able to help you over here. But I have given you the information.
But as for what I said initially at the beginning of this call, I do appreciate you calling me, but repeatedly over and over to all my environments I communicate, thus the name Community Transformation Church, that was the main thing that I was seeking. Community.
Okay. I'm sorry that I was not able to give that to you as far as being, a member of that church.
Yeah, and you brought someone. That was a miracle. That was a big blessing that it was someone else in your complex that was going through something, and there you do have it in you to be supportive. Because then you had someone and was in a predicament, and you showed love and compassion, and you brought them to church, and you gave them a kind word, and you did things. You have went above and beyond for others. But for some reason, multiple different people in my environment, they exclude me from the love that other people get, and I'm just trying to prove it. That's abusive to me. So I'm watching for multiple different locations. I'm the elephant in the room. I'm watching people be loved on and kissed on, and I'm like the stepchild in all my environments, and it's heartbreaking. So even you,
if you're referring to a member that was invited to church,
you told me about the lady that was with your apartment complex, that someone had a death in the family, and you brought her to church, and you understood what she was going through and gave her a kind word, and then brought her to church, someone from your complex.
There's a bus that comes and picks people up. So
no, not this party. No, it's not this party. It was someone that you communicated. You gave a testimony that someone in your apartment complex was going through something, and you said that I don't really know all of the definitives about it, but basically someone was going through something. You gave her a kind word. You did something for her, and then you brought her to church.
Okay. So I didn't bring her to church. She chose to come to church, and the bus came to pick her up.
Well, that's what I meant. That you gave her a kind word. You gave her, compassion, love, support, And then your
Right.
compassion, love, and support caused her to come to church because she saw love in what your behavior. But my thing of it
Uh-huh.
is I'm excluded from treatment like that. And I'm trying to get down to the bottom of
Okay.
why would police come and assault someone and take them for jail for being at a support group? Why did I get drug out of IBOC and slammed on concrete? And then why
Okay.
is it that no
I'm not
authority
too
can
sure.
comment on how abusive and sick that is? Why
Okay.
nobody
I'm
they
not too
people just
sure.
people just condone behavior like that. They don't really say, that's sick and no one should have ever treated you like that. I can't believe that happened to you. The experiences aren't really validated.
Okay.
My
Well,
environment's
like I
condone it.
stated, I am at work, so I was giving you a call to let you know of, the loose ends and who you can reach out to. You should have the phone number in the text message. If you don't, do you want me to give it to you? Because I do have to get back to work. I've got a couple of phone calls to call back because they've been calling while we've been on the phone. So I really need to get back to work.
Okay. Well, it's been happening years. I'm just, like I said, I'm just trying to get down to the bottom of why I'm calling a crisis line and she has to exit the line on a crisis line. I'm
Okay.
just trying to prove that this is how I'm being treated. Okay.
Okay. Would you like the number to Fox Run?
I've already called them. They won't return my call. I tried to communicate it with you and you're refusing to contact that sister property and see why they won't return my call.
I'm not refusing. Like I said, you can call them.
But they won't return my call. What's the point of calling the Kingdom Come and they won't return my calls? I'm not really being heard, and I tried. And if that's your sister company, I'm not quite certain on. In the past when things got really bizarre, before things really got bizarre, you didn't mind contacting the sister company. But for some reason, you don't want to contact them and see why they won't return my call.
It's not that I'm refusing to contact the sister property, Kiana. It is the fact that I no longer work there at that property.
But it's still a sister property. And they won't
So
return my
you,
calls, and I can't, if people repeatedly keep depriving me of assistance and service and love and support, that's just like I communicated, and that text you thought was disturbing. I thought that the police assaulting someone and taking them to jail for trying to be at a support group was disturbing. But apparently, people thinking someone trying to flee is disturbing. It's a red flag. But I
okay.
would have thought that
Well,
would have been
I
disturbing, or the
hope
death threats
that
that multiple different parties saw.
okay. Well, everything that you've got going on is not going to get solved over a phone call. So I will definitely keep you in my prayers, and I pray that you get the help that you need, and that you long for. You have a good one, and I will talk to you later, okay?
Yeah, okay, you take care.
Uh-huh.
Okay, bye. It's not gonna happen. They just say that. Let me pause that. So then we got the friend over there starting. I'm just trying to relax you. As you can hear the worship music on. They call I forgot what she said. This lady has a child. The one that she's acting like is a child. She has a child of her own. So she said the incident, I don't know, encounter, or I don't know how she worded it. But as you can hear that I have the worship music Bluetooth, and this is a repeated pattern. If I'm out and about, strangers have came up to me and threatened me that I don't know. It has happened like 3 or 4 times in one day, 3 different people. And this is just how I had to live. Now and I don't want to show this environment. They're probably scheming to get me out of it. But nonetheless, just sitting at home trying to have peace in my little environment. And the government has someone to call and interrupt it.